Hello everyone, welcome to another session of SD Skills. Today we are doing a mock interview. Mohan is the mock interviewer and Prem is the candidate. And today they're going to solve one problem. So with this, over to both of them.
Yeah. Thanks, Prem. So hi, Prem. This is Mohan. Just a quick introduction. I have total like 22 years experience, mostly in the mobile industry, developing mobile applications, mobile platforms, as a developer, as a manager, and a manager of managers. So I joined this group, I think like a couple of years ago. So I really like this group. I do both, like I'm here for presentations as well as watch the interviewers interview, um, just mostly for learning purpose. So you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, Mohammed, this is Prem Kumar. Yeah, I've been in this group for almost 4 or 5 months and not actively participating. This is my first thing. Last week I presented one topic, and this is my first topic. Just first interview session. So I like this channel very much, and mostly I follow very closely. Yeah.
Okay. So what we'll do is, I think next 45 minutes to 1 hour, we will basically work on trying to build a system, a reasonably working system. The topic that we'll be designing is basically Leetcode programming context that they run every week. So that's a problem statement. So design a Leetcode programming context.
Sure. Very good. Thank you. It's a very interesting topic. Yeah, I will start. Probably, shall I start?
Yeah.
Comments.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably like I wanted to, create. I mean, basically, I wanted to register functional requirements, right? Functional requirements. Yeah. So yeah. So first, this one, like, do you need to? So what are the main object? I mean, I know the Leetcode system. I'll use a little bit. Yeah, not extensively. So user can be able to register and they can there will be multiple basically there will be multiple platform programming system supported, so people can able to execute their code based on the problem statement given in the website. And there will be weekly contest, monthly contest. Yeah. So can you basically, for purpose of the discussion, can you briefly give a specific requirements so that I can focus on that?
Yeah. So just focus on their weekly. Like let's say today is a programming contest, right? So as a participant, right? So what you do, what you can register to the contest, right? And then there is a leaderboard, right? That once you submit, there's a leaderboard that system displays, right? Who's like top based on submissions, top 10 or top 20, and users should also need to be able to see their own ranking, right? You may not be in the top 10 or top 20, but you maybe like thousands rank, right? So you should be able, the system should be able to display the leaderboard. Also should be able to give the user their own rank in among all the candidates. So these are the use cases basically.
So one is a user registration, second is leaderboard, third one.
Then in the user's own rank, right? You should be able to see your own rank.
Okay. Yeah. That is okay. I think once you collect, okay, self ranking, right? Okay.
Right.
Okay. Then, so what about programming language support? For example, the system support supposed to, basically when you submit program, so we can is supposed to execute and give the results, right? Like the time complexity and memory utilization, something like that. So do you wanted to include that also, or just only leaderboard and self ranking?
Yeah, makes reasonable sense. Assume that this platform supports all the major programming languages, right?
Okay.
And the actual programming evaluation criteria, correct? So assume something reasonable. But I want to see how you use that in whatever assumptions you make. I want to see how you use those assumptions in your actual design.
Definitely. So the programming language, I do compilation, right? Compilation and the syntax validation and all, right? So yeah, so syntax and syntax validation. Okay, so I have to support that. So then, what else? So what about publishing questions, right? For example, giving topics to solve the puzzle, right? So do I need to include that also?
I mean, assume you have, the problems defined, right? You have set of problems defined already.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So list of problems already available.
Right.
Okay. So basically, so I think based on the discussion, what I understood that, right, our main focus of this discussion is designing a leaderboard and self-ranking and programming language support.
Right, but the program context said after register, you look at the problem, then you code, and then as a candidate, right, as a competitor, you submit the code, right? So you need to consider it's a complete like flow, right? Starting from submitting all the way to get the result.
Okay, question bank, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, I think this is good enough, right? I mean, maybe if something needs to add, please let me know. Feel free, because at this point of time, I'm just considering this one. Maybe when discussion progress, maybe we can keep focusing on the particular area. Yeah, this is so non-functional. Like how many, so user base, like
how many contestants, right, in the system? Again, make reasonable assumption, right?
Maybe I'm assuming like 1 million user. Because I think this is a programming platform, right? So mostly not like a real social media. So maybe we can go with 1 million active user, right?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, that sounds
okay.
reasonable.
So what about authentication and all? That's fine. I think authentication, I think we can go with the minimal.
Yeah, I don't want to focus on too much on that, right? Just assume user authenticated, right? So I just want to focus on the main topics.
Okay. So topic wise, like maybe if you see the total problems like 100K problems, right? So 100K problems, and we are to 100K problems. I would say at this point, maybe how many is it okay to go with 100K problems, or shall I?
I mean, that's fine, but just like again, right? You are focusing on one programming context, right? Probably you are picking like 10 some set of problems, right?
Yeah.
So that's.
So what about discussion group? Shall we include discussion group also? Not
not necessarily. Yeah.
Okay. I think this is good enough. I think maybe function requirements aspect. This is okay. Maybe for non-functional, I don't see it's not a major thing. It's like maybe it's like enough moderate system. And again, it is scalable. We can do scalable based on the need. But at this point of time, I just go with the 1 MB active users. Okay. Active users. Okay, that's fine. So maybe, so this is good. Okay, now I'll move on to use case, right? So first use case, maybe I will do with use case. Cases. First use case, user registration. Probably I'll start with user registration, and the second thing is ranking. Then self-ranking. That is okay. I mean, once you do ranking, then automatically self-ranking will be calculated. Then language support. Okay, then the question bank will be there. That is another thing. So there will be multiple so use case wise, like this is actual requirements. So now I will go with actual user. Like one is maybe yes, admin for this admin user. Then second one is like the participants, like users. users, actual users, platform user, maybe I say platform user. Yeah, so then this is a users, I mean, basically use case wise, yeah, this is one. I think, yeah, I think this is fine. Maybe next one, this is good. Yeah, so I think admin user is the one managing entire website, and the platform user is the one actually solving the problems. Admin user is the one posting problems. What about platform user also can post a problem, or just stick with only admin?
Yeah, I think just for the sake of discussion, right, in the interest of time, let's just focus on the actual life cycle of the program context, right? Where as a contest, you look at the problem, you code, you submit, right?
Yep.
And you get there. So just focus on that life cycle, because we can go so many topics. I think we'll run out of time. So just focus on that.
Yeah. Okay. I think this sounds good. So this is just a registered session. Yeah, this is fine. So now I will move on to quickly, because of time limitation. I'm just going to high level design. Probably, let me define the components list. Okay. First thing is like, I'll start with, maybe I think the more focus here is, I based on the discussion, I understand that is, you are more interested to see the leaderboard concept. So maybe I will define the component for that, like maybe ranking.
So just to be clear, Prem, so I want to see the whole system.
Yeah, definitely. I will start with the important components, because I don't want to miss that core. Then I will build around on top of the main core components. Yeah, ranking component. Yeah, ranking service, I say. Okay. Then next one is next component I wanted to put, like programming. Programming platform. Yeah, programming platform. This is fine. Next one is next thing is, the important thing is like maybe question bank. Yeah, I'll put here question bank. Service, question bank service. Yeah, question bank service. Okay. Next one, I think of maybe what else? User, yeah, user definitely. Yeah, admin, that's fine. Then question bank, yeah, self ranking is fine. I think yeah. Question bank service, a programming platform. Okay. 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 Now this is a user, right? Maybe. It's not working. Okay. Second, it's not working. Okay, it's not working. Okay, yeah. User. With admin.
So Prem, you can skip the admin control.
Okay.
So because I think for us, so what we're looking at is basically, as a contestant, right? So it's kind of life cycle when you submit your answers, right, for those questions. Yeah. What happens from that time onwards? So that's what we're interested in.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sure. So now, okay. Maybe yeah. Yeah. So this is one more component I want to design. Like maybe I want to put here. Question validation. I mean, answer validation system, right? Question and answer validation system, validation service, I would say. Okay. then there's then okay, now I will start. Okay, user, picking taking this question bank service. Then use taking, then once user take the question and is submitting, is just submitting into platform for validation. And this is just doing basic syntax validation, other things. After that, it will submit to QA validation. Then there will be, once this is success or fail, I mean, basically based on this answer, if it is good or bad, it will route it to ranking system. And finally, the ranking system will calculate and update ranking and notify to the user. Okay, so this is just data flow. Start from user, is pick the question and submit it to platform, and after validation, give it to ranking, and ranking it goes to user. Now this is actually overall flow. Now we'll come to maybe leaderboard, how the leaderboard works, right? Maybe you wanted to talk about that more detail.
So first, yeah, I think we'll get there, but I just want to in this diagram, right? So where does this, when the user submits this code, right, for the specific problems, where does the code get stored, right?
Yeah, that actually this is overall thing, right? So question bank, maybe the question bank will have their own database. Let me put that. This has internal, this is like a kind of each microservice, right? It is having own database, right? So maybe let me put that this is a DB, question DB, QDB.
So does it store the user submissions for those questions?
Yeah, I'll come to that. Yeah. So okay. User question is raw. It is like a raw questions, right? It's a question bank. Okay. This data will be it will be given here. So these are all components. The database. I did not talk about database. Yes, that is. Yeah, I will come to that point. Yeah, this is a question bank database. And there will be another database like what is that? I'll say the ranking system. It has own database. So this is a collection of DB, maybe ranking DB, rank DB. I'll say, right? So this one indirect, this one maybe I'll put this one. Is there any way to draw diagram? Maybe 1 second. Let me put other. It's a DB, or DB. Okay. So then the validation service will have a set of questions and answers. I mean, basically, this is a raw questions, and this one interrelated. This is actually for a discussion purpose. I'll put it here. Q and A DB. Okay. So yeah, another thing is here. This is actually syntax validation. Anyway, we'll have the platforms, Java platform, or another thing is Python.
So what is this? What is the functionality of this block, programming platform block?
Yeah, basically when you submit data, when you submit code, it has, basically it has to have a compilation environment, right? It has to launch internally. What will happen? The platform service, it will invoke JVM for Java compilation purpose. If in case Python, it will open C++, yeah. So it will open C++ compiler like that. So each one having depending on the programming language, it will open
So it's
it will
compiling
execute.
platform.
Yeah, it will compile and throw syntax. So this is like this programming platform is like giving editor capabilities as well as syntax validation capabilities and compilation capabilities. It's all included. This is entire thing. Okay, this is what it is.
So just to be sure, Prem, we are not focusing on the front end, the editor and other things like that, right?
So, the platform service is not about front end. It's actually in the back end. I mean, user is typing the code, but the back end is the one validation, doing the validation and doing the compilation. Yeah. So yeah, that is what it is. Okay, that's fine. Maybe front end means that is indirectly the system has to support. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, that is fine. Now I'll come to next part. Ranking DB. So ranking DB contains each program has a weightage, right? Problem maybe I'll say here. Each problems will have weightage. One is like easy. Maybe easy we have 5 points, right? Just for a discussion. Medium. Okay, this is like another 10 points. Then hard problems or complex problems, maybe 15 points, right? Yeah. So this is this is one thing. So this contains, the DB contains a list of questions and answers. I mean, basically that weightage, right? So okay, then now the validation service, it's all it's all interrelated thing, right? 1 second. So there is a way. No, it's not. Okay, that's fine. I think I wanted to link that. So now the validation service is just doing validation of the system, basically the validation of the problem, and success failure criteria. It will give to ranking. The ranking service will consume this data, this medium, the computation, ranking computation. So maybe what I'll do, inside ranking will have multiple components. One I would say wanted to keep ranking computation. Ranking computation. Yeah, ranking. Okay, maybe let's. I'll come back. Ranking. Calculation. Okay. I will expand this one a little bit more based on the discussion. This is fine. I think for now, I will say that ranking system will get the data from DB and compute the rank and update it. And there will be another component maybe we can put like inside ranking. It is like a sorting, right? Basically, it's after computation, it is sort based on the points score, basically that overall score. Maybe overall score. Okay. Overall score. Then there will be another component. We say like this is actually display purpose only. This is actually, these are all backend. This is just display purpose, leaderboard display. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So leaderboard display. So yeah, maybe now for just for yeah. Yeah. So any questions here? Shall I move on?
Yeah. So I wanted to complete this, the overall architecture, right? Then we can focus on the use cases, and then I also want to look at the schema for the, mainly for, let's say, the overall score and leaderboard databases, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. So basically, yeah. So maybe you wanted to define schema. That's more, you are more interested in the database design, is it? Maybe.
It's actually, right? I mean, it's part of the overall design, I would say. But first, like let's connect. Let's connect all the parts, right? All the use cases.
Okay. Okay.
Then once we have the entire use cases kind of flow working, right? Then we can look into the schema.
Yeah, sure. So the ranking system DB, right? This is actually, I'll put it another way. What I'll do, okay. Okay, now what I'll do, this is actually more ranking ranking components. We will see what are the things. First thing I wanted to say, one is like rank calculator. This is actually, that's what overall rank calculator and overall score, this leaderboard, just leaderboard display. This is another component. These are within ranking. Basically, if you see, this is an expansion of this one. There will be, it's an outer layer, and this is an inner thing. This is one component, and inside, there will be multiple thing. Logically, we are classifying, okay, calculator and overall score and leaderboard. So now we want to talk about DB. Yeah.
For ranking, right? For ranking, what kind of metrics you think it makes sense?
That is that's what if we see here, overall score, like depends on the problem, easy, medium, hard kind of thing. So each questions will contain the weightage, and based on the weightage, once that problem solved, and based on the weightage, it will be computed based on the points. So then the sum of points will be displayed to that calculation will be given to leaderboard display. So the leaderboard will sort that based on score, overall score. Right.
So a lot of people may get most of the problems right. So it means like a lot of people having same score. Right?
No, that's what the complexity. That's what we are talking about here. This platform service, that is the main job of the platform service. What will happen, like when you when it publishes to, after doing this validation and gives this answer to this validation service, right? What will happen is it is taking the computation time and the memory complexity.
Okay.
So based on that only, that result will be published to ranking service. The ranking service, when the data comes to ranking service, this input, it comes from validation service, right? Whether the answer is right or not. If it is wrong, no question of further validation, just 0, right? It will move on to no update, just 0. Okay, I hope this is not a negative system, so no issues. So if in case negative system, that will talk differently logic wise. That's anyway, that's internal programming thing. Maybe now come to this one, right? So the input is given, taken from validation service and platform service, both combined. It will go to ranking. That ranking calculator will calculate everything and update the overall score. When it comes to overall score, it is already computed based on the execution speed of the program and memory complexity, everything. Then finally, it will be given to, it will notify or publish to leaderboard for just for the display purpose. So the leaderboard will get updated. The frequency of updation is based on, not continuously, based on, every 1 minute or 2 minutes. If any changes in the score, otherwise it remains static. It's not, especially this type of leaderboard. It's not a real-time leaderboard, but maybe 2 minutes once, depending on the frequency, we can pull the data from score and display it on the system.
Okay, so from this entire flow, right, starting from submission all the way to displaying leaderboard. So all this flow is it synchronous, and how does it work? I
will come to it. It's not it is not okay. This is not a synchronous system. The synchronous, okay, I will talk about that when you interact between, because this involves multiple components. So when depending on the component, I will say like either the synchronous or non-synchronous. Now the context, maybe at high level, this is what it is. Maybe I will go to low level design. I will because this is, we got a clear somewhat overall idea. Now I'll put it maybe in a low level component, maybe sequence diagram kind of thing. Then you will see, because if you see this is an independent system, and this should be asynchronous, and the calculation and the publishing, between ranking service will push data to this guy, and when this do the computation, this can do independently and update overall everything. This all independent, they're all asynchronous. Synchronous point of view, like when you submit code up to that platform validation, we can go with synchronous, because it's like a single user thing, so we can go with synchronous way. But after validation is publishes to rank, from there you can go from then on we can go, it will be on a synchronous way. That's what I am thinking. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe shall I move on to next, or maybe yeah, I missed one point, important thing. I think you are more interested on the DB, right? DB schema. So probably I will define a high level schema, because yeah, the ranking thing, the ranking we can there are I think we can choose multiple. It is not a, this is not a I think it's a scalable. You wanted to go with scalable and doing ranking. So if the ranking keep changing every time, I think the best suggestion, or I'm thinking, like, go with the Redis shorted Redis DB kind of thing. That way we can do, we can go for a scalable, as well as it has a inbuilt feature of doing a shorting based on the score. That, yeah, is it okay, or shall I?
Yeah, so I think if you, if you're if you want to jump to the database design next, right? So I would basically look at the data that you previously you defined 1 million users, and how do you translate that into your database sizes? And so I just want you to establish the need for, right, from that, how much data you're looking at, and then from that, what kind of data you need to store, right, how it will be used. So you can focus on that.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Now I'll move on to DB schema thing. Probably like this DB contains, first thing is like list of question. Maybe what I'll do, I will logically classify because the DBs for ranking alone, computation alone, we can go for only ranking and user ID ranking. We can go with one type of DB that's called maybe Redis DB for scalable and computation. It's an in-memory database, so we'll go with Redis shorted other thing, probably like the question bank and answers. I think we can go with probably like we have 100K problems only, so I don't think it's not a major problem. And also the question wise, if you see each or maybe we'll go for each questions, probably like it takes like a few probably like around 100 KB. So if you see 100 KB into the database, it's it will not cross more than a couple of GB. So it's, I think it's not a the question DB question and question DB wise. I think we can go with any document database, or I think it's not a major challenges here from database aspect, especially whatever database you choose. So that's not a problem. So let me define the schema first. Okay, maybe okay. First thing is QID. Second one is complexity. Maybe weightage, I would say weightage, right? Then weightage score. Okay, weightage score. Then this is yeah, this is okay. Then yeah, this is fine for answer. We can say answer yeah, answer ID. Yeah, answer. Yeah. Okay, this is one DB. Okay, one table kind of thing. Okay, so next one is, yeah.
For which table? For which this for the ranking service DB?
Yeah, just for
question
DB. Yeah, I'll just let the question DB, right? Yeah, this is question DB. Maybe I'll QDB. Okay. So now next one is next thing is I'll wanted to go with this one, right? Validation.
Sorry,
Anyway,
what is answer? What is answer ID there? What is answer ID?
Yeah, I'll come to
Okay,
because
okay.
basically this is actually QDB and QADB. It's all we can combine everything one. That is that's one, that is fine. Because anyway, the corresponding question and weightage answer is not going to change frequently. We can keep one DB. For ranking, probably like I wanted to say rank DB. Rank DB. This one we say user ID. Then score. We can say, I will say, yeah, score, yeah, score. Then score. Then what you can say, when it comes to score, it will give weightage. So the weightage is when weightage will calculate a score and the computation time, everything. So this is a runtime thing. So this logic we don't need to keep. That is like independent. We can that we can have independently. Probably like I will note on that point. Okay. So what I'll do, yeah, I think that is actually more intelligent thing. So that we can runtime computation, we can take that. So score. Then so overall self score. Yeah, I think then your score and rank, maybe rank your rank, self rank, okay, self rank. Okay, this is for time. I mean, at this point I'll just keep this one. Then I think I'll come back and add anything missing. Then yeah, we can add this one. Okay, this rank DB. Overall score from here we can calculate. I think we don't need to maintain more. For this is fine. For leaderboard purpose is all dynamic, so we don't need to keep anything. Yeah, just like a publishing thing. So I think we can keep. So this is okay for now. I'll go with this. Yeah. Okay. Is it okay? Any questions?
So you have, so the total, you're saying the total databases in the system are rank DB and the question DB, right?
Yeah, question DB, rank DB. Yeah, then I am going to introduce one more thing here, like the computation score, right? Computation score is like a more dynamic. So for that, it's like relative. I would say like that data will be. I think it's more dynamic. I would say it's not a pre-calculated thing. So it is like that one. What I'll do, it's okay. We don't need to do pre-computation. It can be done dynamically. So that's what I'm not keeping that criteria here. That is like based on the weightage and submission data, it will be computed and given here as a score. It is just given as a score here. So yeah, that one, that input, we don't need to, I'm thinking like we don't need to keep it in the database. It's like a more computation service kind of thing, right? Yeah. So that one I will connect that part. Maybe when do the discussion, I will connect that part, how that calculation happens and how the data. Okay, I can justify why not keeping that data because yeah, it's like a more dynamic thing. It's yeah, we will do some kind of intelligence there because the number of user, it's like some of the things, right? We will go with the one score, the basic, some of the problems solve, maybe kind of relative computation also. So and based on the number of submission, and that the computation criteria will, the complexity weightage, score can dynamically decrease. So that intelligence will be built part of this component. Yeah, so I will for that it will take the external inputs dynamically. I can connect that one later. I have some idea in my mind. I did not register it here. Probably I register. Okay. Yeah. Computation complexity will be calculated dynamically.
This is for the ranking. This is for the ranking, right?
Yeah, this for ranking. Here, this is like a more automatic intelligence. AI, I'm trying to bring AI here, and based on number of user base and the number of submission, and based on the odd medium problem, the computation logic, the relative ranking system, it will keep improving day by day or every day kind of thing. So yeah, so that is actually more yeah, so that intelligence will be given here. Yeah, so I think that is fine for now, your discussion, right? Or you wanted to bring that also? How do you wanted to?
No, I think it's just, I mean, I think for me that was basically the validation service, right? Whatever the platform service running your submission and ranking it based on different metrics, right? That's part of it. We don't need to too much of that. But you talked about pre-completion, right? Can you
once again
what are the pre-completion?
question? I think I just put question ID only. I can say description or something. Okay, because this is also some of the things self-explanatory. I just skipped probably, like, even I can add it. If it's not a clean DB, because it's not a clean DB, because some of the field, like I say answer ID. What is the answer? Just answer ID is good enough. It's not good enough, right? It will be reference to other table kind of thing, or you can have answer here itself, right? So that is what it. Sorry, I think you were talking something. I just deviated. Yeah. What is that?
So you talked about some pre-calculation, right? So what are you pre-calculating?
Yeah, pre-calculation in the sense, like, for example, you're talking about this question validation service, right? This is what it is, right? Pre-calculation. You're talking about pre-calculation in the sense, like, the question validation service. I was talking about that artificial intelligence, like how to compute the score, and depending on the business logic here, right? That's what you are interested, or did I understand your question correctly?
I just wanted to understand what data you are pre-calculating. You said pre-calculation, so I just wanted to understand.
No, pre-calculation. It's a it's not a pre-calculation. Basically, what will take, right? For example, for a given problem, okay, the problem can be solved in a brute force method, right? So for that, like, it will calculate the number of CPU cycle to execution cycle, right? Because we'll be validating everything, same platform, because it's a validation service. Is always you have to take, like, some kind of benchmarking system. So always you take like a 8 GB, 8 GB RAM with certain Intel i7 8 generation processor. Then it has to be calculated across all the programs, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's like a today that system. Okay, maybe today is our benchmark is i7 8th generation CPU. But after a year or so, that CPU become obsolete and it will not be no longer valid. So I had to move to next computation. So that's what I was to say, that the pre-calculation thing. So that computation thing, will be fed to the system externally and based on the configuration. So that means like a one-time configuration. Then on need basis, this will be changed. Yeah. So
I think Prem, I think we spent enough time on that. I think that's just a part of the your ranking service, right?
Yeah.
So basically, I think this ranking service basically, this is kind of a system where a bunch of test cases, it runs the test cases. It finds out if the submission passed all the tests, and then it knows the metrics, right? How long it took, what is the memory, how much memory it occupied. Using that, it will basically ranks different submissions, right? So
Yep.
I think we can just put that in that box, right? So so next thing is in the ranking, right? So from client perspective, right? So how does it look like? Think about, you have a web client, right? Making get ranks API, right? For example.
Yep.
So it calls that API. What happens? So I want to see how you connect the submissions and whatever running in the behind the scenes generating ranks. How that's tied with when you have an API call coming in on the leaderboard side.
Yeah. So I think maybe for this, I think the flow is the data flow is connected, but I think it's all cross-related. I think that is what little confusion there. Because it's all evolved based on the discussions, right? So that's one thing. I will put maybe I will draw it quickly. Another thing is DB for DB. Yeah, for now I think user ID and the score self rank. So this is like sorting will happen based on the score. And yeah, based on that, maybe for display purpose, we'll put maybe use rank display, right? Rank display, okay, rank display or leaderboard, whatever you can say, call it as leaderboard. Okay. First thing, like username, it will be the user ID is indirectly gets the user data. Okay, so that is what I want to say. Then username, then followed by rank. It will be sorted. Okay, rank. Then the first, first thing always, it will list for first 3 rank of Y rank in that leaderboard, and so and overall score. Along with that, overall score. Okay, that is what some XXX, right? Okay, so this is just to display. Okay, so it's a client side display. Now I'll quickly, because interest of time, right? I quickly connect all the components. Like I think already I connected it, but only thing is it is I think you're not getting a complete flow. That's what your main concern, right?
Yeah. So think about this way, right? So when you have submissions coming in, right?
Yeah.
So you are and your system taking the submissions, compiling them, executing test cases, calculating ranking, right? So this is changing dynamically, right?
Yeah.
So now when your client request comes in, what snaps you take? What is the snapshot? How does that computation actually converts into the database that is serving the request for the leaderboard?
Yep.
Right? So, I don't see that connection.
Yeah, this is actually, that's what the overall score will be pushed here, and this will be this will be there, and the leaderboard service will every depending on the configuration, every 2 minutes once it will pull data from overall score and doing the sorting and display.
Right.
That is what it is. It's like independent component. The leaderboard display is independent component. It's overall score and other things is an independent thing. And this is the data will get updated here. And the leaderboard, he'll sync data. Basically, he'll fetch the data and doing the sorting. Then after that, display. So here, this is like, so that is what it is. Doing a calculation and updates it. Then after that, the leaderboard will act as independently, and there is no relationship. Basically, relationship, right. There is it's like it will act independently.
Right. Periodically grabs and sorts, right? And stores the results.
Yep.
And then the request comes, just serves the results, right?
Yep. So I will put it in a diagram, probably like, I'll start with, I think this is a user, this is like a data flow and high level thing, right? I think next thing is we have to define APIs. I think, I think maybe
I think APIs is too late now. I think it's okay. You kind of went that through already.
Yeah. Now so I will maybe for your questions like asynchronous thing, I wanted to, maybe I'll put a component like a simple sequence diagram low level design sequence diagram.
Yeah,
And
so right. Let's just focus on a couple of things. So the one thing is you talked about Redis databases. I just want to make sure that I want you to understand, like explain why the specific database pick. That's one thing. And the second thing, you can explain how you're going to achieve this, the asynchronous behavior here. So those two things you can focus on next.
Okay. So yeah. So maybe I will talk about the ranking. I think from this question, basically this particular use case, for keeping a question and answer DB, I think there is no constraint. You can go with RDBMS also, regular SQL, SQL, MySQL or SQL database also. That's not a problem. Okay, or you can go with real document database also. That's not a constraint here, because there is no this is not a major complexity. So that's one thing. But the ranking thing, I wanted to say why wanted to go with Redis, right? The first thing is it is actually has to start, the data has to be sorted. So it should be data has to be sorted always based on the score, and it should be scalable. And this is a dynamic thing; it keeps changing. So it is not a permanent thing. So I don't know if something data is persistent and you wanted to the data is not going to change periodically, then we can go with normal data, document database or DBMS database. That's fine. But this data is keep changing. So why I have to do every time disk write? So I wanted to keep it in memory and doing the sorting and display it just for a display purpose. So this is not a permanent thing, right? But that's one thing. And also scalable aspect, in memory, and also it's scalable. If that leaderboard system crash happens, then suddenly we have to bring other instance and work from there on. So that purpose, I recommend, maybe my choice is maybe go within Redis database. There is a sorting capabilities, that's called sorted set DB. So we can go with sorted based on a score. Okay, did I answer your question? Are you
okay.
satisfied?
I think that's fine. I think I was just thinking that you would use that data, right? 1 million users, how many requests?
That can handle scale.
Okay.
1 million users that can handle easily. This 1 million is nothing for Redis kind of thing. That in memory database. So it's
I feel like regular SQL can handle this stuff.
Yeah, that's what the problem. Yeah, that's what I was telling. Like this is from data aspect. I don't see much complexity here, because this can handle any database based on there is no argument for any database. Actually, there is no debate required. Yeah,
correct, exactly.
Yeah, so now I think I answered database question. Now I'll move on to the sequence diagram, quick sequence diagram between component interactions and also synchronous and asynchronous, right? That's you are more interested on that, right? So probably like I will emphasize on that. So maybe I will start here. This is like a okay, this is like user. Then this is like a cost. Maybe what I'll say, what is that service I defined, question bank service, right? Yeah, it will go to question bank service. QB service. Okay, next time. Okay, let me because QB service. Then it will go to platform service. It will go to platform service. It will go to, after that it will go to QA validation service. Okay, let me put this also. I'm just drawing a sequence diagram here. Okay, excuse me for delay. What is that? QA validation service. Then after that, then ranking service. Actually, ranking service I can expand more on the ranking service thing, because it has multiple components inside the ranking service. Okay, ranking service. Okay, so here ranking service, here we have one more thing inside. I will put one more thing like rank calculator. Then what else I mentioned? Overall score. Yeah, published to overall score. Yeah. Overall score. Okay, now next one is like, this is another component. Leaderboard is a separate activity. Leaderboard is a separate thing. These are all separate, and okay, leaderboard is completely out of, maybe is a separate thing. Okay, and I will put the display service. Okay, leaderboard and display service. Display service. Okay, now is leaderboard. Okay, so now I will come here, start from here. So I will talk about what is synchronous and what is asynchronous. Okay, so now you'll get the data. Maybe I will start with the submission directly. Maybe you get user request data, and it is already seen all the list of user is seeing all the list of services. So he's picking one particular problem. Right, you'll go to one particular problem. Maybe I'll say pick question, right? Question QID. Okay. Then after that he submits. He's submitting it. He updated everything and he submitted to platform service. So internally the platforms are from here it's synchronous. Okay, so I'll say where is asynchronous will come into play. So platform service, what will happen is doing is sending it to validation service. This is also synchronous. Okay, then after that it will notify here. Then this guy will notify this here. Then after that he will notify, okay, this is a score. I mean, okay,
but this looks like synchronous to me, right?
Yeah, it's synchronous. Yeah, synchronous. Yeah, this is entire thing is synchronous. Okay, so he's submitting it and he's getting a response. Okay, so now
so before responding, you are validating that question, then responding.
Yeah, he has to do the validation. Yes, he has to go through the validation, because when you submit, even if you submit it in Leetcode, what will happen is in the background, once you submit it, your UI will not allow you to do any changes. It is saying progress is running. And after maybe one particular program, usually typically the program it takes like a few seconds only, right? It's executed. If it takes more than that, then that means the program is wrong, and you're running infinite loop. That means, right? So it will give after some time out, it'll say your program is bad, and that validation itself, validation service will fail and return. If any program takes more than a second, I think depends on the complexity, right? More is not typically will not take more than a second, I would say, because all the problems are executed in a milliseconds level, maybe 100 milliseconds or 200 milliseconds, depending on the algorithm, right?
So at this point, are you also running? So validation just compiles, or what does also run?
Yeah, platform service is doing compile. Platform service is doing a compilation. It's doing a compilation, and if the compilation is through, it will pass it to this guy. Otherwise, it will throw error and they say not good. If the validation service, what main objective of validation service is like get that input, and also is doing I told you earlier, like this is what it is, right? Doing the additional computation dynamically. That one, what will happen here? This you take that answer and checking memory. It is giving weightage for memory, CPU. So based on that, it will calculate a score, and that will be done independently as soon as this is done, it will independently to ranking service. That job is done. And the response will be given here. Like for example, okay, your code execution 35 ms and memory is so and so, like that. It will give it here, and the background it will push a message to ranking service. Okay, the ranking service, what will happen? Then it takes that rank, based on the, based on the, it is already, when the answer comes out of validation service, the validation service is like a more AI here. AI in the sense artificial intelligence built. It is taking computation of, the input is given. Input is given in the form of weightage and runtime, then problem weightage, like so many factors. Okay, so that is big one. Okay, we'll talk more on that if you want. Yeah.
Sorry. So let me just to make things possible, right? So let's assume that in the validation service, right? Basically, it's a system of compiling. Then you running that. There may be a lot of test cases, right? Assume the system has a lot of test cases.
Yes.
Make it take a while to really run all the test cases.
Yes.
Then compute all the metrics, right? Assume it takes so much time, right?
No.
So in that case, do you no, assume let me answer that these systems take some time to run those things, right?
Yeah.
In that case, do you think still this synchronous is still good? If you do that, how do you change it?
I'll, that's what I come to. Yeah, we can go. See, I'll tell you one more thing. See, this is actually for because the problem is given like a Leetcode problem. So based on my understanding, any problem, even if you run 5 test cases, 6 test cases, or 10 test cases, because the problems, right, the execution speed, because it's all algorithm. So execution speed, if anything takes more than a couple of seconds, then something wrong. So it is execution. See that execution is like everything less than a second, close to a second or 2 seconds. So going with synchronization is not a bad idea. Okay. Not a bad idea. But to answer your question, yes. I built a synchronous system. If you want to change it to a asynchronous system, yes, that is also possible. How we can do that, I can tell you. What we can do is, once you request is accepted, you just send a notification saying I request is accepted, and this is your response ID. Then based on the response ID, you can poll the result every, whatever, based on the client design. This client also we only built, maybe external component is built, so they can keep querying. Like I sent a response like 201. 201 is accepted. It's not a 200. 200 is like a synchronous thing. 201 HTTP code 201 is like, okay, I accepted, and this is your response ID. This is your response. Now, based on the response ID, you keep polling whether I'm done or not. So as soon as computation is done, I will say, yeah, this is your answer. That way I can solve, but I can dig more. I can dig more how that synchronous asynchronous communication works, and I can go with the HTTP error code also. I can specify like what HTTP code, how we can handle. I can drag it more detail. I am very keen to explain that, but yeah. Now,
I think we're running out of time. I think we're more than an hour now, so I think we can stop here.
Right? Yeah. Maybe just I think I'll just quickly connect this component and finish it. Okay, so now I think this message is notified. Is this like a notification? Sorry. Okay, this is notification be given here. Is notified. This notify.
Hey Prem, I think we can do it asynchronously.
I think we started 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late only, so nothing wrong. So 1 second.
So Prem, this is already 1 hour. So real interview, you won't get 1 hour.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's why I said I thought 40 minutes I wanted to wrap up, but I said okay.
Okay, sorry. I think
no
that's
problem.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So overall score, and this will publish it to. I think that's all. So the leaderboard, you'll independently, you will get the data periodically, like and display service. Okay, if there is any change. So this is how it works. Okay, so the border here is like I wanted to say this is actually independent thing, and yeah. So yeah, that's how it is. Yeah. sorry for I just took time. I think in just the interest of explaining components, but yeah, some of the things I could not explain. I think I need more time to explain it because it's the problem complex. The problem is a really good problem, and there are a lot of things to talk about. But
we are not stopping here.
Yeah,
we'll do the quick feedback, and then we can still keep on deep diving on this.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think I'm done speaking. Thank you.
Thanks, Prem. Asim, I think the others give feedback first, right? And then I will. You want to go with the feedback? Anyone else has feedback?
Yeah, but thank you so much, both of you. Good session. So I can have quick feedback from others, and then Mohan, you can give yours.
Okay.
Anyone wants to give a feedback?
No feedback means it's bad. So
hi, just a quick question. More of a question than a feedback. How is the question bank, the question bank DB storing the questions, right? I mean, the validation service is not going to understand or parse the English version of the question. It's going to understand it in some kind of a metric-based format or some kind of a broken down format, right? To be able to consume and to validate the answer. So is that something?
I just want to hold on tech questions.
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Yep.
Sorry, we want to first finish the feedback and then we can keep on deep dive on the tech things.
There was some good feedback on the chat windows, I guess.
Yeah, but this is all about the feedback is not technical. Looking for a feedback like how Prem did well and he can do better next time.
Got it.
Like if you are assessing a candidate, whether you hire or no hire, what you will look.
Well, if I can speak again, sorry. So one of the things I actually faced in one of my interviews is I missed out on the negative use case. So that's something I did not hear from the candidate. Like let's say the question and for the answer does not work. How does it actually get sent back, and is it really stored in the DB? Some kind of a flow over there.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wants to give the feedback? Okay, Prem, do you want to do a self-assessment?
Yes, definitely. I think the problem is, I think this is a really good problem. And one thing is I think our interviewer is more focused on leaderboard concepts and the DB. But when you directly get into that, I think some kind of a basic thing I wanted to start. I think, otherwise the components will not connect together and will not be able to, visualize. So from visualization point, we started. Think good, but I think the DB wise is not I think it's not a big database. So I think whatever discussion happened is good. I think the interviewer poked me a lot, and I think many of the components, everything is derived based on the interviewer mindset. Based on that, I draw some of the components. And he really hinted me a few things, so that helped me to catch up and put things together. And he is more focused on I think synchronous and synchronous communication, how it works, and what is the connection relationship between leaderboard and overall score. That's the main key interest. So I think that's what, but only drawback from my side is the topic is given and is well known problem, but its time is very constrained time, and I could not put together all my thoughts. Maybe I'm not good in grabbing good in probably collecting detail and delivering it quickly. maybe a little slow on delivering. Yeah, sometimes if you deliver too fast also will be a problem, but again it's like the content things. Yeah, that's one thing. And the DB I think is more focused on schema, but I think the schema wise I always more focused on technical and the intelligence other things, but the schema I mostly like it's not a schema design. Usually in schema it will evolve. I think we'll start with a few basic things, and based on need we will it will evolve actually before going into low level design. So that's what I did. Probably like maybe he expected upfront answer like 1 2 4 like 5 6 7 like that, but I could not do that. That's one thing. Yeah, because my primary background is like more or less embedded and other things, but the DB I did not really work in DB things. Like, a little I know little thing, but extensively not work it. But that's one reason I could not put everything, all the fields, because usually the way I think like first define all the components and come to the all the things, because the DB will get automatically get evolved before design, but that input based on the discussions it will evolve. Yeah, so that is a thing. Maybe next time I have to focus more on start based on the interviewer interest. I have to focus on delivering and that kind of thing. Maybe I have to do some study on that and give right away some of the things. Yeah, but otherwise overall I feel I have done good job. Yeah, I don't see anything. I answer all technical problems. Yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Mohan, you want to?
Yeah. So others are done. So thanks, Prem. I think it was nice talking to you. I think I enjoyed the discussion overall. I think you were all structured, right? I think you were quick in drawing diagrams. You were able to put together the requirements. The flow was good, and really got stuck, right? So I think you have a lot of good things that you did well in the in the interview. But just some feedback I give, just I think just in the interest of again, right? I mean, when you are other side being interviewed, it's always the time and everything plays into picture, right? So just in terms of the feedback. So starting from the requirements, right? So I think overall time you spent was reasonable. Many times people spend too much time in the requirements. Reasonable time is spent, but I think you kind of mix requirements and use cases together. So I think separating out why use cases are important basically is I recommend her just a couple of use cases, 2-3 use cases, and then you should take those use cases and you should be able to walk through your diagram. That's how you visualize it. So let's say in this case, right, user registering, submitting, right? Then after that, again, from assuming there's a web client, right? So web client, you make a submission, and then after that, you query for the leaderboard, then you query for a rank, right? So you visualize these things from client perspective, right? To implement these cases, what kind of things you were expecting from the system. So having that clearly written, and then when you put to the system, right, to be able to partition, okay, for this use case, okay, this part of the system is doing this, right? For leaderboard system, this part of this part of the system is doing that, and then how all those components are connected. So I think that helps. If you separate out requirements and use cases, then that kind of helps. You can take a use case to partition and you build your thoughts around that. And the requirements more around like anything that either functional, non-functional, within those blocks, right? What needs to be done? So you can use the requirements to build the logic within the blocks you put together. So I think that's where the overall diagram becomes simple, explanation becomes simple, and you can connect everything together easily. So that's one feedback. And the second feedback is that I think like you put together, I think like probably I would start with smaller blocks first. I think in the beginning, you sort of put together all the boxes, and then that's kind of difficult to connect everything together, right? It could be, things like you have, this is the real case coming, right? And you're uploading user submission to this specific object store, right? Then after you can just one platform, you can just put one platform that's doing all the magic. It just is doing compiling, it has test cases, not test cases, and then it spits out some result that gets stored in the database, right? I think that would complete one part, and then leaderboard could be another part. So yeah, so I think because you in the beginning itself you kind of put so many blocks, and also the database perspective, I was not really interested in detailed design as such, but I think for the leaderboard other things, right? It becomes important on how you how the submissions are made, put in into your one database, and then how you take data, you sort them, you calculate the results, right? That's why I was talking about saying that. So we can't. So these systems had to run independent each other for the performance and decoupling reasons, so that the ranking surveys, the leaderboard can run, I think, independently. And so that's why I was asking about what is so that when you start, how do you sort it, right? Based on what is your primary index, things like that. So that's that was the main reason. And one more thing is that so you initially said that your system will be asynchronous. That's why you went and wrote this flow, correct? But I did not see any asynchronous here at all in this flow. So for me, easiest thing to asynchronism is not a sequence flow, but rather in your diagram, you can just put the request coming in. There's a message queue, right? The request go into the queue, and then you have this your platform is going to be a bunch of workers that grab the request. They run asynchronously, right? And they store results in database, right? So you can show the asynchronism that way. So I think you spend a lot of time in the flow, right? I think kind of this was already explained previously in the when you do together blocks. I think that was clear, but I was waiting for you to show the asynchronous nature of this. But I think later you said we don't asynchronous for this, which is fine. But you could, if you make assumption, I think you should start in the very beginning. So you can say that like, I'm going to build this in a completely synchronous way, right? For this reason, then we don't have gone this path at all. And apart from that, I think sometimes, right? So when you're explaining, right, I think I felt like some areas where I think I was giving clues that I'm not interested because I wanted to do this kind of black box, but I think you were spending a little more time than needed on those. I think probably could save some time in those areas. And one, again, last but not least, I think in the beginning itself you've done APIs, because once you have the use case mapped to APIs, then the overall system design becomes very simple. You just focus on this API I'm going to implement like this, and then you can connect all the components. But I think overall it's good. I think you put together the system with all the components and mostly a functional system. So I think that's my overall feedback.
Thank you. It's nice. Nice feedback, and I think I got your point. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. I think that during discussion itself, I told it's like a mixed synchronous system. So that's what asynchronous means. I was talking about these components.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is what. So anyway, that is a good feedback. Thank you so much. We'll discuss more maybe offline.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, both of you. I'm going to stop the recording now.